Hey folks, it's Thoughtforms here, and in honor of my new preset pack finally launching, Nebula Ambient Odyssey, wanted to put together a video on how you can use this preset pack to produce music. Now it seems like an odd topic, right? It's a preset, it's a bunch of sounds, pretty simple, but you can actually get a lot more mileage out of these presets if you just alter the way you think about them. So a quick recap there. The Korg Triton has two patch types. You have a program, which is a very simple architecture where you have just two oscillators. And then you have a combination where you can stack up to 8 different programs. So if you think about it, combinations allow you to build incredibly rich sounds. In that, when I think of 90s atmospheric drum and bass, ambient, those big wispy evolving pads, this is the synth for that. Now let's go ahead and jump into this, and what I want to do is just start with the bass pad sound. Now a lot of the sounds in here are going to work great as a pad, but a lot of these sounds also work great as just atmospheric textures, one-shots, and sound effects. So let's use this one here, Sunday Toast, for a pad. And I'm sending this to an old Zoom Studio 1201 effects unit just for a little more cheese. Right, that's a really solid 90s sounding pad there. Now, what I could easily do here is just not play a chord, right? I can turn off this chord device here, and if I play the same root note, we get some great atmospheric texture there. And because something like the Triton is essentially using PCM samples or samples for the oscillators, when you play lower down on your keyboard, you get that same effect as a sample in a sampler. And then the other way. Or again, we could play a pad. And so, as mentioned, a lot of these sounds, you can think of them as pads or atmospheric textures. It's just all about how you play them on the keyboard and potentially sample them as well. So let's just put in a pad here for this sound. Okay, so from here we have a great pad sound, and what I could do is actually probably just copy this. And let's turn off the chord here, and let's go for more of like a textural soundscape bed type sound. So I'm gonna go to Browse here, User, go back into the Nebula Ambient Odyssey pack. Let's try some other sounds out. Right, this is another example here. Great as just a single texture. If we go low down on the keyboard. Or we just play a nice pad. Dual purpose. So let's keep going through here and see if we can find something nice to layer. Right, and so now we kind of have a little bit of a melody on top, right? And so that's just one example there, right, of how we can use this pack for other sounds too. Now, if I come back in, let's go to users and let's find more of a like textural sound effect type element. And I just keep reiterating this, but see how easily it can transition between a full, wide, thick pad and more of a sound effect element just by playing up and down on the keyboard. Now, what we could also do here is maybe we take one of these sound elements. Let's just record it in. Then we could bounce that down to audio. And then we could go the route of chucking that in a sampler for a little more grit. Let's send that to our shitty reverb. And we could even go the crazy route of enabling polyphony and then playing a quote-unquote chord. Let's see what that gives us. Pretty cool stuff. So anyways, guys, just wanted to give you some ideas of, what you can get away with just one synth, and especially something like the Triton that essentially contains a bunch of samples. And so through that, we can create these very complex pads that sound great played as a chord, or if we get creative in our playing, we can just turn those into little sound effects, ear candy to layer up with the pads inside here. So hope you guys found this video useful. If you want to check out Nebula Ambient Odyssey, you can see a link to that down in the description, as well as an extended demonstration of the sounds within there. I think it's probably my best work so far, spent a ton of time on it, and so I'm really excited for you guys to get your hands on it. Have a good one.